Maraming salamat, Mon and Sarina. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Kakagaling ko lang po ng bundok ng Makiling sa Philippine High School for the Arts at kasama ko po ang mga katutubo nating mga kapatid sa iba't ibang probinsya at rehiyon sa ating bansa. Ako po ay nakikisa sa inyo sa inyong silver anibersaryo at ang ating representante ng author ng Local Government Code of 1991, former Senate President Nene Pimentel, ay ably represented by Tita Bing. Ako po ay nagbibigay-pugay kay Mang Nene nung ako po ay majority leader sa aking unang termino, 1998-2004, si Mang Nene po ang aming Senate President for a couple of years. And so I worked with him very closely, and I have become a dear family friend of Tita Bing and Mang Nene. And we are so happy that their son, Coco, is a Senate President today. I think it's never happened that a senator experienced having the Senate President father and the Senate President son, and Coco is one of my greatest allies and dear friends in the Senate as well. So Tita Bing, I wish you well and congratulations to Mang Nene. Ako po ay nagbibigay-pugay din po sa pamilya ni former Congressman Hilario De Pedro. Nung ako po ay bagong salta sa politika ng 1998, siya po ang kauna-unahan ko pong leader at tumulong po dahil siya po ay gobernador sa South Cotabato nung panahong yon. So I would like to thank the family represented here. Bumabati din po kay Governor Alfonso Umali, Manong Boy. Nung nakaraang taon po, nung ako yung humihingi ng pirma ng ULA para sa suporta sa ating Paris Agreement, si Governor Umali bilang Pangulo ng ULAP ay napaka-efficient, napakabilis at sumang-ayon kaagad sa kanyang pagpirma at sa lahat po ng opisyales ng ULAP para po sa ating pagkakaisa sa ating climate agreement. Thank you very much for your efficiency and your support, Governor Boy Umali. Babati din po siyempre sa ating Secretary of Local Government, former Governor of Northcote, Governor Secretary Sueno. Siya po sa mikling panahon na kilala ko ay parang magaan ang loob ko dahil napakabait sa mga hearing at ang kanyang mga sinasabi ay very realistic. That's why when he asked me to realign some of the budget, dahil hindi yung kanyang mga proyekto ay hindi napondohan, dahil hindi naman siya ang naghanda ng National Expenditure Program o ang NEP, ako'y sumang-ayon kaagad at mahirap hindian si Secretary Mike Sueno. Okay. At ang kanyang able assistant, Undersecretary Panadero, na palaging nandun. At ako po ang palaging nangungulit sa kanila, and the Local Government Academy na ipatupad po ang aking mga batas, which I will talk about briefly. Governor Ryan Singson, babati ako, another good friend of the family. And of course, Mayor Sandy Javier, again, a longtime friend of more than 30 years, one of our outstanding mayors. And Paul D, of course. Alam niyo, pag nandito ako sa harap ninyo, dahil 3 terms na ako, para bang ako'y at home na at home. Dahil saan ako natutulog pag ako'y nasa Isabela, di kilad di. Saan ako nagpupunta at nahingin tulong sa Leyte? Siyempre sila Sandy and Mindoro, of course, sila Manong Boy, and of course the Simpsons. Saan pa ba ako matutulog sa Ilocos kundi sa Vigan kila Eva and everybody here, and of course pamilya ni Ryan. But all of you, and Governor Firmalo told me in 2004 when I ran for Vice President with FPJ, when we won a landslide in Romblon, he was one of the few governors carrying us then. Of course, that was 12 years ago, but I just wanted to mention all of that. I'd like to greet Governor Pepito Alvarez of one of my favorite provinces, and that's the province of Palawan. Babati po ako sa inyo, bibigay-pugay, Gov. And all of the local chief executives, governors, mayors, councilors, Mayor our Councilor Maybelline Fernandez. I feel so old because ang kaibigan ko pa, ang kanyang tiyohin-in-law. Ako ay nangangampanya sa dagupan yon, si Tito Al, Mayor Al, Tito pala ni Maybelline, Councilor Maybelline Fernandez, and all of you present here today. I am going to shelve my written speech, and I will just email to you my speeches. I have the database, and I will get a database of all of those present here today. Instead of reading my speech, I would just like to tell you about the importance of local governments. Kami po sa Senado at sa Kongreso, maski anong galing ng mga batas na aming binabangkas, no matter how profound, how relevant, how universal, how useful the laws that we enact are, if these are not efficiently implemented by both the national government agencies and the local governments, all these laws, policies will be ink on paper. It is true when they say that all politics is local. Lahat naman ng pamumulitika o politika ay sa huli ay lokal din. And that is why you as chief executives, whether governors, city mayors, municipal mayors, councilors, whether you hold official designations in these organizations like ULAP, your role is so important. And I, as a three-term legislator, ask you for your help so that change can come to our country. And change will only come to our great nation if you, local government officials, implement the laws that we in the Senate and in the lower house enact. What am I referring to? All this video are different from what I'm saying because this is part of my speech. But anyway, bahala na kayo magtugma. Yan. So, do you know that in 1989, long before I became a senator, we have the Rainwater Catchment Act. The DPWH, during our budget hearings, sometimes are surprised that there is such a law because it is the mandate of barangays and of the DPWH to create rainwater catchments. Hindi ba po, sa panahon ng El Nino, palagi tayong tigang ang lupa, kulang ang tubig. Pagkatapos naman ang La Nina, nagbabaha naman at sobra ang tubig. Kaya nga, kung sino pa po ang siyang nagsagawa ng Rainwater Collection Act of 1989 must have been a visionary because it mandates the creation of rainwater catchments in every barangay in the country. I hope that the DPWH and the League of Barangays, our ABC president is here, would implement this law so that rainwater is not wasted and in fact recycled and reused. Another very important law that we authored in 1998 and enacted into law in 2001, right after the Payatas tragedy happened. And I'm referring to Republic Act 9003 or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Law. Why is this so important? Hindi ba po, there was a trash slide in Payatas? Hindi ba po, there was a trash slide in Baguio? Ang problema po ng basura, gaya ng binanggit po ni Secretary Sueno, ay hindi lamang problema ng environment o kapaligiran o kalikasan, kundi na rin isang issue ng ating kalusugan, ng kagandahan ng kapaligiran, and it has become a everyday issue. And so, the segregation of waste at source, recycling, and composting must be institutionalized in every local government unit. To date, 15 years after the law was enacted in January of 2001, only 25 to 30% of our local governments are actually implementing the ESWM. And I ask, why? 1/3 of our population does it, but 2/3 do not yet. I am not giving up because there have been outstanding LGUs. San Fernando City, I believe, is an outstanding LGU. There are outstanding barangays Even in Dagat-Dagatan in Metro Manila, where there are informal settlers, Barangay Nyogan in Tagaytay City, Barangay Sikat in Alfonso, Cavite, Barangay Fort in BGC in Taguig, and Barangay Blue Ridge in Metro Manila, as well as other barangays in Camotes Island, in San Francisco Municipality of former Mayor Al Arquiliano, which is a Sasakawa awardee of the UNISDR. So what I'm saying, and I'm certain that there are many, many more LGUs, if this can be done in just one of the 42,000 barangays, I am certain that others can. And it is so important we do this because we're actually able to do our own compost, organic compost from our food waste and other biodegradable waste. And we're able to recycle the recyclables of bote, lata, and plastic. And then the waste diversion will be 80 to 90%, and only the 10% remaining will go to our engineered sanitary landfills. And so the waste-to-energy facilities that was mentioned by Secretary Sueno, while welcome because it is new technology, may not even be necessary because if we segregate waste at source, recycle, and compost, there is no more waste that will actually need to be subjected to WTE because only 10% goes to the landfill. And I know whereof I speak because I do it in my office. All of you are invited to come to my humble office just a few steps away in the Senate, and you see how strictly we implement our waste management. I do it in my home, I do it in my little farm, and I'm very strict about it because I believe that to be able to speak about it before anyone, I have to walk my talk. And I've seen even Barangay Holy Spirit in Payatas in Quezon City, how they strictly implement this law. Another important law that I'd like to mention to you this afternoon is the Climate Change Act, which created the Commission on Climate Change. Do you know that each local government is empowered or mandated to create their local climate change action plan? And it is the mandate of the CCCOM to help and do capacity building for our local government so that they come up with your own local action plan. Dahil po, paano natin ipaplano ang ating mga syudad o ating mga probinsya kung hindi nga tayo nakamap lahat ng ating resources? How are we able to know how to reduce disaster risk if we don't even know our risks? How are we able to provide sustainable livelihoods if we don't even know our natural wealth and our natural resources? And so, it is the mandate of the Commission on Climate Change, which is headed by no less than the President of the Republic of the Philippines. The law is so powerful that the Commission is chaired by the President and vice-chaired by one commissioner and 2 other commissioners. So it is your right to demand that the Commission helps you in crafting your local climate change action plan. And if they don't, tell me, I will help you craft your local climate change action plan. Another very important law that I also authored is the funding mechanism of the Climate Change Act. And this was just recently enacted, and this I'm sure everybody will listen. Because we have 2 billion funds in the People's Survival Fund, which is still unused. Pinondohan po natin ng 2015 1 bilyon. Pinondohan po natin ng 2016. Wala pa pong nagagalaw dahil po may kakulangan ng kaalaman. I told them, ipalaganap nyo sa social media, i-email nyo, tawagan nyo ang lokal na pamahalaan para sila'y mag-access ng PSF. Again, you should call the PSF board so all local governments can actually avail of the PSF funds through climate change mitigation and adaptation programs, whether it's mangrove reforestation, or it could be renewable energy, or it could be anything that is related either through mitigation or adaptation. I saw in Gov. Ryan's presentation earlier when he put about disaster risk reduction. I am glad on the road to federalism that you are considering a heavy bias towards DRR, because really, remember this, and I'm sure many of you know this, for every dollar invested in disaster risk reduction is $7 saved from economic losses. Hindi ba ho, pag tayo'y hindi naghahanda sa mga sakuna, pag putol na tayo ng putol ng kahoy, pag hindi tayo nagtatanim ng bakawan, pag tayo ay hindi nag-retrofit ng ating mga infrastruktura, at pag tayo ay hindi sumusunod sa ating mga building code, ay mas malaki ang sakuna dahil hindi po tayo handa. Pag wala tayong early warning systems, when we don't really prepare and coordinate with our weather agencies, when our DRR officer does not warn the people and forcibly evacuate people during times of natural hazards. And the warnings have been there 7 days or to 10 days ahead because we already have the technology. And so mainstreaming disaster risk reduction in local governance is so important. When you look at the number of casualties in every storm, pag nakita po natin ilang namatay, kung titignan natin yung mga dahilan ng pagkamatay, maaari sigurong kumunti, mabawasan, pati yung kawalan ng kabuhayan kung ang paghahanda natin ay mas sapat. Hindi ko po masasabing zero casualty, zero losses, because that's a natural hazard. But I strongly believe if we are prepared, losses can be minimized, maybe not totally eliminated. So that is embodied in the NDRIMC law, or the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Law, which I am certain all of you know about. In fact, I'm sure every governor, every mayor present here today has a DRR officer on his or her local government. Another important law that I authored in my 3 terms is the Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises Law. And this is a law that is implemented by the Department of Trade and Industry, but can be converged with the DILG, because it really mandates our local lending institutions to lend to micro and small enterprises. It really promotes vulnerable, sustainable rural livelihoods. Ano pong ibig sabihin? Ako po'y taga-Antique. Ang aming mga kababayan po ay gumagawa ng mga produkto galing sa baryo, galing sa nito, galing sa pandan, sa iba't ibang mga naha-harvest grasses from our mountainsides. Ang iba't ibang mga livelihoods na galing sa Cordillera, for example, whether it is these Tingyan beads I am wearing or this Gadang beadwork that I am wearing now, are done by our indigenous peoples. I'm sure each of you have your OTOPs, and in fact, OTOP is one of the programs of government that I am reviving in the 2017 budget, so that one town, one product, there's a pride of place, there's a livelihood that each municipality, each city could really be proud of and sustain. And as the DTI, I am certain that they should be able to help LGUs and CSOs and POs and NGOs through the shared services facilities. They give away equipment, toolkits, looms even, whatever is needed by local communities for their sustainable livelihoods. They also have the Roving Academy, where they teach skills to all the local communities. Why am I telling you all of this? You may know of all of this because when I am faced with them in a budget hearing, the agencies of government have so much money, you'd be surprised. I see the need when I go to the countryside. Nararamdaman natin ang pangangailangan, inihilangan po tayo ng tulong sa mga sulat at hinaing. Pero ang ating mga pamahalaan, nasyonal na ahensya ay napakaraming pondo at hindi nagagamit. Alam ni Secretary Sueño, pag ako po ay humaharap sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno, hindi naman po sa ako'y nagagalit. Pinapaalala ko lang po kung magkano po ang available na pondo sa kanila na kailangan pong gastusin. So, isa pa po na mahalagang batas na local government din ang nakikinabang at maaring tumulong magpatupad ay ang Barangay Kabuhayan Act. This was a 2007 law which I authored, where 4th, 5th, and 6th class municipalities are recipients of TESDA training in indigenous resources available in their communities. In fact, TESDA must be able to set aside funds in 4th, 5th, and 6th class. So I am certain that some recipients of the Seal of Good Governance may be 4th, 5th, and 6th class municipalities, and all of these laws that I mentioned, I can help you access. I can even earmark the implementation of these projects in the respective agencies, whether it's DILG or DSWD or DOLE Kabuhayan, DOLE Tupat, or even the DTI. And so I've probably talked too long. I've not read my speech at all here, because what I wanted to tell you was my report card to the nation. The laws, at least just some of the laws that I authored in my 3 terms, which are actually implementation in a way of the local government code, because all these laws empowers the local government and gives local governments the resources so that they can bring services efficiently and effectively to our people. So on this occasion, I would like to thank ULAC, the League of Governors, and the DILG for having me here. Alam niyo po, kahapon lang ako sinabihan ng DILG kasi po, ako ay panakibutas lamang. Dahil po, si Senate President Coco Pimentel ay nasa Geneva. I could not join him in the IPU because I'm chairing the Finance Committee and there's so much work. And so with a text to my secretary and an email late last night, I accepted, because you are the implementers of our laws. You are the frontliners in providing service to our people. The country will not move. Our nation will be immobilized without our frontliners, and that's you, our local government chief executives. So on this occasion, I congratulate all the more than 300 leaders and champions of the Seal of Good Governance. I congratulate all the awardees of our peacekeeping, I cannot pronounce the very difficult Filipino word, tagapamayapa. Ayan, Liga ng Tagapamayapa. Congratulations po. Maganda po na ang ating mga sinaunang kaugalian or even indigenous culture is mainstream into the awards giving in local governance. And so, before I end my message today, I would just like to share with you something simple that I learned 2 days ago from the head of the Kingdom of Bhutan's Center of Gross National Happiness. You're probably asking me, what is she talking about? Bhutan is a kingdom of 1 million people. We are a country of 100 million people. But the difference really lies in just the number. They measure their success and development in terms of GNH, or Gross National Happiness, which has 4 pillars. And those 4 pillars can easily be mainstream in our local government. What are these? Good governance. I read your qualifications and standards for the Seal of Good Local Governance. Good governance. And that's compliant, means compliance with all our laws. Second would be environmental protection. I saw it as well in your Seal of Good Local Governance, which would include social protection as well. The third would be equitable socio-economic development, meaning really spreading the needs and wants of our people and delivering on their basic needs. And fourth would be cultural preservation, and that is present, that pride of place and the culture is present in each and every LGU. So the 4 pillars of GNH can actually be applied and mainstream in the DILG and can be taught in our local government academy. But that is for a different day altogether, or a different lecture altogether. I just simply wanted to mention it now because when I read the standards for the Seal of Good Local Governance, I saw the GNH pillars in that standard. So on this occasion, I'd like to thank each and every one of you present here today. Sana po ay pag-uwi nyo sa inyong mga probinsya at syudad ay ang ating maikling pagtitipon sa araw na ito ay maging makabuluhan, at maalala nyo ang aking maikling mensahe na nagsasaad na kayo po ang siyang magiging ugat o sanhi ng tagumpay ng ating bansa. We cannot keep on relying on our national leaders or blaming our leaders for the failure, if ever, of governance. Because governance lies both in the national and in the local level. And you, as the duly elected frontliners and service providers, if I may say it, to our constituents and our people, you have a great responsibility to bear. And so on this occasion, I thank you very much for listening to me patiently, and let it be said that all of us, during our time when we have our power, our influence, our health, our brilliance, our wisdom, our positions and our resources, that we use all of these to make our lives and the lives of the marginalized and the vulnerable Filipinos better, brighter, safer, more resilient. Thank you very much.